I think there we go. All right. So I wonder why it doesn't pin me. There we go. All right, and Win is here as well. Fantastic. All right, good evening, everyone. You are very, very welcome. So lovely to have you here. I hear that in Cape Town it is, you guys at a Bergwind, it's fairly warm. It has been the opposite here, fairly, very cold. So I kind of was thinking, what are we going to return to in our yoga session today? And there were two things that came to mind. One is that I always pull a card from the mandala deck or often I do it before teaching to give me inspiration. And the one that I pulled in my little meditation before was harmony. So it's a lovely mandala. I love it. I love the colors as well. They're also different and vibrant. And it says, I look for opportunities and people that bring a sense of balance and harmony into my life. I choose what feels good for me. So in our yoga session today, I thought, let it all be about a sense of harmony, finding a sense of harmony in our physical bodies as we move, finding a sense of harmony in the emotions that may arise as we work with specific postures, and a sense of harmony with our minds and the mental chatter that often takes hold of us with kind of words or phrases or sentences that you should be able to do this, or you should be doing this, or you should be feeling this, or, and actually just see if you can release that mental chatter and just be in harmony with the mind, that it's not something that you need to fight or switch off, but invite it in a loving way, and invite it to release kind of the negative thought tendencies and patterns that we so often have. So harmony is going to be our word for today. And I'm going to just take off my waiting room, so if anyone else wants to come in, they can. So that is what we'll be working with. And just a reminder, it says, I look for opportunities and people that bring a sense of balance and harmony into my life. I choose what feels good for me. So that is where we are going with our class today. I invite you to now come and sit in whichever way is comfortable. And as you're sitting comfortably, you can allow your eyes to close for a moment. And settle in to the rhythm of your breath. Noticing the inhalation and noticing the exhalation. So you don't actually need to physically do anything. You're just noticing. Noticing the physical body as well. What is in contact with what. And now we'll start to make little micro adjustments. So if you need to adjust the position of the buttocks on your block or your mat or your cushion, do that. If you need to adjust the length and the integrity of your spine, you can do that. If you need to adjust or adapt the position of your shoulders and your arms and your hands, you feel like they want to come into a mudra, do that. Just finding a sense of harmony in the physical body. Again, drawing the awareness back to the breath. And feeling that there's a steady, easeful flow now as it travels in and as it travels out. Maybe even noticing the pauses at the end of the inhalation and at the end of the exhalation. We did this little breathing practice in one of our calls in the clean eating challenge this week. And creating that pause, that space, is like the emptiness that you create inside you, or the pause after the exhalation, before the emptiness you create inside you before eating again. And you create that emptiness, that space of stillness. It allows for more fullness in the inhalation. And after the end of the inhalation, again, pausing, holding the breath for a moment, really enjoying that feeling of fullness. And again, following the exhalation. So allow the breath to be comfortable. Don't force it to any particular rhythm. When you need to inhale, you inhale. You notice how comfortably you can pause after the inhale. When you need to exhale, you exhale. And you notice how comfortably you can pause after the end of your exhalation. So the breath is in harmony all the while. There's no gasping for the next inhalation, no gasping for the next exhalation. It's all just comfortable, in rhythm, in sync. Sometimes the inhalations will be a little longer and deeper. Sometimes the pauses will be a little longer. Sometimes they'll be a little shorter. Know that there's no incorrect way of breathing right now. The breath just gently moves in and out. So there's a sense of acceptance, which means the mind doesn't need to get busy with any negative thought patterns. You can just get busy with following each breath in and out. And when the mind follows the breath, it quietens down, and the busyness, the agitation, the anxiety that it can cause, all starts to settle as well. Simple, easy, comfortable practice, but so grounding. That's what our practice is going to be like this evening. We're not going to worry about form or structure, if anything is right or wrong. We're going to really go deep within, inquire within. Make sure there's a sense of harmony between body, our mind, and that intuitive space that we operate from. Allow your awareness to shift from your breath a little deeper inwards, and take a moment to think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Maybe even just taking 3 mindful breaths with those. Maybe even doing 3 ohms if you're comfortable with that. Giving purpose and structure to the beginning of your session, of our session together. And then from there, bring the palms of your hands together, rubbing them, get them nice and warm. And cup them over your eyes, take a deep breath in. And slowly out. And then blinking your eyes a few times. You can spread your fingers as you do that. You can look out the window into the distance or at a pretty picture. And when you feel ready and comfortable, you can always bring your gaze back to the screen if you would like. And welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. So today we are going to start with our warm-up standing up. So let's come up standing. We don't often do this, but I thought, why not today? Finding a comfortable position, and we're just going to start by inhaling, lifting up onto the balls of the feet, and exhaling, coming back down onto the soles. Just lifting and lowering. There we go. And then maybe just swaying forwards and backwards from the balls of the feet to the heels. From side to side. And then maybe even in a little bit of a circle. Maybe just noticing again, maybe back and forth, side to side, where your center point this evening is. So that movement becomes a little slower. Shoulders are soft and relaxed. And you can then take a moment to stand still, grounding down through your right leg and bringing your left leg up. And we'll start with the left ankle, rotating into that ankle joint. A few circles one way, a few circles the other way. So we had a lovely 7-day clean eating challenge. We finished on Monday. It was fantastic. It was amazing. Everyone it was different to what they expected, because it's so hard to explain it. Like, it's not just about food, it's about so much more. Point and flex, as is yoga. Like, yoga is not just stretching, but like, how do you explain it simply to people? So I'll be doing another one in October, definitely. So hopefully you'll be able to join them. And kind of like what I wanted to say from there is, when we take like a little bit of a pause, let's change legs from how we normally do things. It's like it resets the body somewhat. And when we've got that reset, that clean set slate, it's so nice to work from that, again, that sense of intuition, point and flex a few times, and to have that clarity and lightness. All right, releasing. Let's bring the hands onto the knees and circle the knees. Then, because Kushila and Colleen, you'll know Yolanda, she was on our retreat with us this year, Change Direction, certainly. She's doing a fascia talk workshop on Saturday from 10 to 11. So if anyone's free, you are welcome to still sign up and register for that. I'll pop the link into our WhatsApp group a little later. Give the knees a good pat. So it's a free online workshop where we're going to chat about all things fascia related, and she'll give us some practical tips. So have your mat handy or comfortable clothing, and we'll do a couple of practices with her again. All right, maybe just patting up the legs to come up standing, open them wide, and take it into figure of 8. There we go. So those, I think, are all the updates I have for you now. Change direction, circling, or figure of 8 the other way. Again, let it be harmonious in your body, for your body. Don't make it stressful. Figure of 8 sound too confusing. Just go into hip circles. Just move. That's the idea. Doesn't need to be complicated. Let's move into a couple of cat stretches. You can bring the hands above the knees or onto cupping the knees if you want, whatever's comfortable for the shoulders. Your inhalation opens you up. And your exhalation rounds you. And just notice, does it need to be a really, really slow, deep movement this evening? Or does it need to just be a little bit faster? Do you feel like you need like a little bit of momentum? What is going to bring your body and your mind a little more harmony or into that state of balance and easefulness? Sometimes we feel that we just really want to go deeply, and sometimes it just needs to be a subtle, soft, flowy movement. And on your next inhalation, you can uncurl, you can bring yourself up and take it into shoulder circles. Again, the inhalations bring the shoulders up and back, the exhalations down and around. Nice big shoulder circles. And the other way. My head's being cut off all the time. There we go. And then let's move into the arms and the hands. Elbows, wrists, and hands. And the other way. And then flicking the fingers. Oh, and now because we're coming to the one more update. On a Saturday morning at 8:30, I always do a Facebook Live. And this month I've decided to do kind of on the mat conversations with me. So I give a couple of yoga tips with regards to the mat, and what we're going to be doing is, or what I shared this past week was some neck exercises. So on the exhalation, we are going to draw the chin down to the throat, tilting the head down. Inhaling, bringing the head back up to neutral, and then feel that you can bring your chin forwards and up. And with your head in this position, the shoulders nicely relaxed, kind of like the shoulder blades supporting the back of your rib cage. It kind of feels like they're just gently pressing in that direction, supporting them. You're going to allow your mouth to open and close a few times. And you can take your bottom teeth over your top lip, so just stretching into the throat, working into that Vishuddha chakra, the throat center, your center of communication. You might even want to take the jaw a little from side to side. We hold so much tension in our jaw, so just feel that you can work it a little to help release. Notice if you start to clench anything. I just noticed that I started clenching my right hand, and there's no need for clenching. Maybe you're clenching a buttock muscle or something like that. And then bringing your head back to neutral. And just notice how it feels after having opened and stretched into the throat and the neck. Lovely. Right. Bring your left hand up. Place the left hand against your head, your temple, the side of the head here. And you're going to press your head and your hand against each other. So they're going to resist each other. So we're going to press, 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 press. And then release the pressure and just allow that head to release down to the side. And then keeping your head in this position, again, administer that pressure, feel that resistance. So push your hand into your head and resist with your head. There's a two-way kind of force or pressure, and then release. Notice if your head releases down just a little bit more. And then do that once more. Press the hand against the head and head against the hand. Resist, 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 resist. So we create a little bit of tension. And once we've created that little bit of tension, we release and we notice the extra lightness or harmony that comes. Bring both hands into your head. Bring your head to the center using your hands. You can release your hands. We're going to do one Simasana, the lion. We take a deep breath in, tongue out, eyes up, hands forward. And release. Same thing. Other side, right hand to the head, breathe in. As you exhale, head and hand resist each other, or head resists the hand, whichever way you see it. And release. Notice how far the head releases down. Again, press the hand into the head and feel that you can resist, 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 resist. And as you exhale, release. Maybe the head releases a little bit further down. Last time here, pressing hand against the head and releasing. Amazing how much further the head is able to go. Bring the hand onto the head, bring the head back to the center, release the hands. One Samasana, breathe in deeply. And release. Lovely. Take the chin down to the throat, feel the back of the neck lengthening. And inhale back to the center. All right, so we'll do another practice or two like that on Saturday morning. For now, you can circle those shoulders again, then the other way. Lovely. Good. One of the practices that is lovely to do in kind of actually at any point in time, especially change of season, is the wood chopper. And with the wood chopper, it's a strong, forceful exhalation out through the mouth as you feel that you're kind of like chopping a piece of wood. You're going to make sure that the knees are nicely bent. In other words, the arms come up. You're going to be swinging down and through the legs, using your axe to chop the wood. Head releases down. As you come down, you're expelling the breath. We're going to do 6 rounds of those. And on the 6th round, we're going to stay down. We're just going to allow our spine to kind of swing back and forth for a couple of rounds as we go. All right. If the sound is going to be too distorted, just put it on mute for now. Otherwise, if it doesn't bother you too much, you can leave it on. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath in and exhale, release. Inhaling up. Inhaling up. Inhaling up. Last time, once more. This time, stay down. And allow those arms to swing back and forth. And when you're ready, slowly, slowly, coming all the way up again. Right, so again, that expelling breath again helps to release that throat center really nicely. It's very awakening, it's very empowering. So if you have a lot of frustration or annoyance or anger, go to the bathroom, go to your bedroom, do a couple of wood choppers, because it does help just to release that excess energy that it may be stagnant somewhere within inside you. Right, from here, right hand to the shoulder, left hand is coming behind you, and we're going to just swing arms out to the other side. So we're swinging the arms from side to side or from shoulder to shoulder. One goes behind the other, and you might just want to take it into a little bit of a kind of a bit more of a twist. So we're getting that diagonal movement happening now in the body. So there's a bit of a rotation in the torso or the lower abdominal area. Again, using the movement. I know it's warm in Cape Town, but it is chilly here. So it is an easy way to create a little bit of warmth and heat. Something to keep in mind during winter. And then slow that movement down again. And just let it settle, find yourself. Feel that kind of like all that wobbling is coming back into where you're able to find that midline that we worked with right at the beginning. Notice if those knees are a little soft, there's a sense of harmony between the right side and the left side. Both feet are beautifully grounded and stable. And then you can bring your left arm up. And as you exhale, lean over to the right. Kind of like your half moon pose, opening up the left side of the body, squeezing a little into the right. Squeezing to the side where the liver is, your adrenal glands. Keep breathing as you hold it here. Inhale as you come back to the center, exhale as you release. Same thing, other side, inhaling, opposite arm lift. Exhaling, taking yourself over. Staying here, holding it, breathing into it. Smooth, comfortable breaths. Yeah, so this evening, there's nothing challenging or difficult. We're just really finding a sense of openness in our body so that everything can move and flow with ease. And when that happens, then there's a sense again of harmony, the word we're going for today. Release that arm, take it into shoulder circles once more. Nice. Very, very simple. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward bend. We're not going for depth or kind of direction down to the ground, just halfway. And if you need to bend your knees, go for it. We're doing 6 rounds dynamically. The hands can be, don't place the hands kind of like into the waist area, what we often call the hips. Bring them down into your real hip joint. So notice where your hip bones are and bring your hands down into that area where the hip crease is. Let them rest there, because that will remind you to tilt the pelvis from that position. Breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, you're tilting from the pelvis, from the hips, and you're bringing yourself just halfway down. And then on an inhalation, you can bring yourself back up again. Right. And as we do this, we're going to notice the pause at the end of the inhalation. We're going to exhale, and we're going to notice the pause at the end of the exhalation as we hold the posture. When we need to inhale again, we bring ourselves back upright. So you're doing 6. In other words, 4 more rounds, and you're doing them now in your own time, where if you really feel that you want to hang out in that suspension of the breath at the end of your exhalation, and just enjoy that feeling of emptiness as you hold it there and you kind of engage with what is happening. You can do that. And then again, as you inhale and you feel the fullness. In Sanskrit, we often call that the purna, fullness. Exhaling, you're coming halfway down. Feeling the emptiness, inhaling, feeling that fullness, the expansiveness. Right, so depending on how the breath is, if it's been kind of at a rhythm or maybe a little slower or a little faster, doesn't really matter. But the next time you're halfway down, stay halfway down, hold it there, and breathe into it. You've got the stability of the legs, checking that the weight is even between the balls of the feet and the heels, that you're not leaning too far back or too far forward. The knees aren't protruding outwards or inwards, they're in line above the ankles, in line with the hips. And as you inhale, you bring yourself back up again. And as you exhale, you release. So maybe you just release into the wrists a little. You need to close the eyes for a moment and observe, do that. And before we come down, we're just going to swing the legs a little. So often we spend, I think a lot, especially with COVID, I mean, we spend a lot of time in front of our laptops at a desk, maybe even in a car, and maybe not walking as much as we were, onto the mat as much as we were. So just enjoying a couple of good standing postures or movements, actually. Change legs, swinging back off the other side. Bring movement into our joints, into our body, and release. All right, give it a little bit of a shake out. And then from here, we are going to come down onto our mats. Okay, great. All fours, cat stretch. Let's see, bring the screen down somewhat. Just see that there. Okay. Just she didn't say hello in the chat. Okay, nothing urgent. I could. Chakravakasana, cat stretch. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Let it be smooth, let it be comfortable. You all know the cat stretch. Enjoy it. Feel that. Again, there is a sense of harmony between your body and the contact that it has to the ground, so that it's not that it's like an opposing force that you're resting on, but actually that it's a support for you. Again, your mat isn't against you, your mat is working for you, it's to help you. And kind of the more we can see that things are there for us, to support us and to help us, and not actually against us, the happier we become, a much more pleasant life we're able to lead if we do look for the good. There's always going to be the bad, the struggle, the worry, but we can just find the good, because it always is there, even if it's not visible. Just maybe hiding a little somewhere and needs a bit of unearthing, but it is there. And then release. From here, Mendukasana, the frog. Big toes together, knees nice and wide apart. We're starting to get a little bit deeper into those hips, stretching through. And if it's too uncomfortable to have the arms out in front, place them where you feel that they would be comfortable this evening. If being in Mendukasana is very uncomfortable for you, you can kind of do this little sequence lying on your back even. Might not be as easy, but kind of like just adapt it so that it works for you. But if you're happy in your frog, then rather stay here. You are going to walk your hands and your body over to the right side. So you're just going to walk your hands as far over to the right as you feel comfortable with, so that there is a sense of opening and lengthening through the left side. And then we come back to the center. And after a breath or so, we walk ourselves over to the other side. And we can bring ourselves back to the center. Make sure the pelvis is nicely grounded, rooted back. And now from here, lift the left fingertips. We're going to slide the right arm through, and we're just gently going to, you can even bring the left hand like in front of your head, and you're just gently going to twist open a little. That's it. So you're feeding the right arm open, you're pressing down through the left fingers, and you're lifting that left elbow, opening up. How does it feel for the shoulders? We're not forcing, we're not straining. It's not really a push. Push is always the wrong word. It's more of a lift. It's like it's using the inhalation to lift and guide upwards. There's never any pushing or forcing or pulling in yoga. There's inhaling to kind of enliven, to enrich, to lift up. Come back to the center. Excuse the back of my head. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So you can bring your right fingertips onto the mat. You're going to feed your left arm through that hole that you've created. Left ear comes to the mat, and you're gently opening up and twisting into that side. Noticing how it feels. Lovely. And then bringing yourself back to the center. Give it a little stretch out through the middle. Lovely. One little strengthening practice. We're going to slide forwards on our forearm. We're going to rest the elbows underneath the shoulders. We're going to spread and broaden the shoulder blades. We're going to engage the abdominals. If you need to stay here this evening, that's fine. If you feel you can go a little bit further, your left leg goes back. You're pressing through the sole of that foot. Having socks on is probably not the smartest thing. You can take your right leg back. You're in a plank. We're going to take 6 nice, slow, even breaths. If 6 is too many, then do 2 or 3. It doesn't matter. But after the rounds of breathing that you do, you're going to release flat down onto the mat, onto the tummy. See if you can maybe do 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then release the knees, release the feet, release the pelvis, abdomen, and chest, and forehead. And again, now notice how the full front length of your body is in contact with the ground. And from here, we're going to take it into our main pose for the evening, which is going to be a lying twist. I'm trying to think of, I can't really actually think of what the Sanskrit name is. We kind of call it the Southern Cross, I think, my mom and me. What we're going to do is we're going to take the legs nice and wide apart. You may need to have a pillow or support underneath your head for when you spin around. Probably be best to follow the instructions. Your left arm is going to go straight out in front of you. Your right arm is going to go to the right side. I'll demonstrate this first one quickly, and then I'll talk you through it again, just so that you can see what's going to happen. Then from here, you're going to push yourself up and over. The legs stay where they are. They're not moving. Your right arm is just going to be coming over. You can always place that pillow underneath your head as the arm comes out to the side, and you're stretching through. So literally you're getting a stretch from the right shoulder through the hip down to that right foot, opening into the chest. When we come out of it, we're going to bring ourselves back up, roll onto the abdomen, and bring that arm back down. All right, so I'm going to talk you through it to make it a little simpler and easier, and then we'll do the other side together. So the legs are in a V. The left arm is ahead of you. Your right arm is out to the side. You're going to come onto the right fingertips and use that to just lift you up a little so that you can roll onto your left hip. Your right hip is obviously going to need to lift off the mat, otherwise you can't actually go anywhere. Then you're going to twist and rotate open. If you need a pillow for under your head, you can place it there. That right arm now opens up fully. Find a position where that arm is comfortable. If it needs to be lower down, bring it lower down. You don't want pain in that shoulder. You are going to try and keep the left palm down towards the mat, if possible. So there's a little bit of a rotation through that shoulder that's in contact with the ground. You're lengthening into the feet, and you're breathing. Comfortably, easily, happily, peacefully. In all those ways, all at once. You may notice that there is a little area of tightness or resistance. You might just want to guide a bit of extra awareness or breath into that space. And it's always lovely to work into that mid-abdominal area, into our area of digestion. Always wanting to aim for Samagni, which is kind of balanced digestion. When there's kind of like too much air and ether, it's called Vishamagni, where there's like digestion's too sporadic. There's not a rhythm to it. And there's Tikshnagni, it's too hot. It's like there's excess pitta and you just burn through your food really, really quickly. And when there's kind of, I can't think of what the kapha one's called right now, but when there's too much kind of earth and water in it, then there's like a sluggishness to the digestion. Nothing really gets digested. There's just like a heaviness in there. Inhaling as you bring yourself back up to the center and over. Bring both hands under your forehead. Take a moment to observe and notice how you feel. And it's always really nice to hold the main pose for a little longer than all the other postures we're doing, so that the body can really release into it. We now get an option to, or an opportunity to do the same thing to the other side. So make sure you've got enough space around you. You're going to send your right arm out ahead of you. Your left arm comes out to the side. Legs are in a V. You can press into your left fingertips and your toes if you need to. Lift yourself up. If you need to slip a pillow under your head, you can do so. Roll onto kind of that hip. You're opening up. Open up into the shoulder. And settle here. I can definitely feel this is my slightly tighter side. It is such a lovely stretch through this hip down into that leg for me. And breathing, opening. If it's too strong, you soften that top knee. You make it softer for yourself. The more you straighten your legs, the stronger postures are. The more you bend things, the softer they are. And you decide where it is you need to be. Your body knows. Your body, you know when you need to maybe work just a little bit harder. If there's been a sense of, I don't quite want to say laziness, but if there's maybe been a sense of heaviness or dullness, and you know if you've been in kind of like overdrive mode, that maybe you need to actually just soften and try and allow things to spread and expand instead of pushing and reaching and forcing. And if you've been frazzled, maybe you actually just need like focusing onto an area. Body has so many beautiful insights for us. All we need to do is stop, pause, and listen. And then we know exactly what it is that we should do or the direction we should head in. I feel so sorry for people who don't have body awareness and how they go through life. When you're ready, inhale, bring yourself back up and over. Take a moment to rest in the abdomen. Feel that you're able to connect in that position as you lie there and breathe. Bring the legs a little closer together, softening into the hips. Lovely, and then inhaling, bring your arms alongside your chest, pushing up somewhat, exhaling back, and take yourself into an extended child pose to lengthen, stretch out and straighten up. That's fine. Nice deep breaths here. And bring yourself back up. Right, so we are going to be going into relaxation. It is time for that. So if you want to put on jerseys, socks, anything in that way, if you want to turn down your lights a little, you can do so. Whatever it is that you need. I'm going to come a little closer to the screen as usual so that you can hear me a bit better. Right, hopefully the body feels lovely and open after that. As you come and lie on your back, just stretch out again, stretching the arms back, stretching, pointing into your toes, so that you can stretch through the whole body. And exhale, release. And if you need to hug your knees to your chest, if you just feel you need to draw them in so that your back can really start to relax and release down into the support beneath you, let it do that. And again, there's no rush, but when you're ready, you can bring the feet and legs to the mat. If you want a bolster underneath, just adjust so that it feels right, or a pillow. Okay. Now, as you settle there comfortably, let your head loll a little from side to side, releasing any tension from your neck. Notice the beautiful freedom and lightness you've created in the neck. Then let your head come back to the center. Make tight fists of your hands. Reach your hands down for your feet. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And as you exhale, relax and release. Soften arms, soften hands, relax fingers. Flex feet, tighten thighs, tighten buttocks. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Exhale, relax and release. Inhale deeply, allow the belly to rise. Exhale, let it go. Inhale deeply, belly rises. Exhaling, let it go. Last time, breathe in deeply, breathe in fully, breathe into your whole body, the whole body expand. And then just sigh the air out. Relaxing fully. As the breath relaxes, allow the body to relax. Draw the attention down to the soles of your feet. Imagine a lovely warmth forming in the soles of your feet, and that warmth is relaxation. And you're going to guide that warmth through your whole body. As you inhale, feel the warmth traveling up into your toes, up to your heels and ankles. With each exhalation, you notice your toes and feet relax. As you inhale, the warmth begins to spiral up the lower legs, relaxing the shins and calves. It moves into the knees, and you notice how you're able to relax your knees, your kneecaps, and the area behind your knees. The warmth continues to spiral up slowly up those thighs, making its way all the way up into your hip joints. And you notice how front of the legs, the thighs relax, the back, the hamstring, the inner and the outer thigh. Warmth travels through the hip joint, into the pelvis and the buttocks. And as you exhale, those areas soften. And then observe as you inhale, notice that warmth entering your spine and gently meandering, making its way up your spine, up, 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 up. Through each of the little vertebrae. And as that warmth begins to creep upwards, you notice how it relaxes the sacrum and your lower back. Warmth begins to spread and permeate outwards, relaxing the mid-back, the upper back, shoulder blades. Not just the back of the body, but it moves into the front of the body as well, relaxing the abdomen, the diaphragm, chest, rib cage. Relaxing the collarbones, moving across the shoulders and down the arms, relaxing the upper arms, elbows, lower arm, wrists, hands, and each of your fingers. Warmth continues to spiral upwards into the face and the head, spreading, relaxing, softening the chin and the jaw, the mouth and the lips, nose and the cheeks, eyes and the ears, forehead and the skull. As the physical body releases an extra layer of tension, you enjoy the softness, lightness. And you notice how easily the breath is moving in and moving out. There's a sense of harmony between the physical body and the breath, the air entering and leaving. The body is able to accept the air with ease, with love. There's no force, there's no rhythm. In other words, it's not out of rhythm. And the body releases the breath again when the time is right, allowing you to release fully. And as the air enters and exits, you notice that pulsation, that expansion on the inhalation, and that slight contraction, that tension on the exhalation. And pulsating from one to the other, night to day, heavy to light, from wet to dry, all the opposites. And everything that they house in between, contain in between. Keep following the breath. In very slowly out. Each breath softening a little more, going a little deeper. That pulsation, notice that there's a sense of ease. You can feel your whole being, your whole organism just moving with the flow, being in the pulsation of life. Noticing and releasing, observing and letting go. Fullness and emptiness. Now that you've connected to that universal pulsation, just feel that you can stay in that rhythm the rest of the evening, the rest of the week, month. Maybe you feel that you lose it, just quiet and physical body down, the mental body down, and connect with the breath. And for now, you draw yourself out of relaxation by breathing a little bit more deeply, noticing the rise and the fall of the chest. You're going to allow the thumbs to move along the fingertips, waking up your hands, and you're going to wiggle your toes, waking up your feet. When you're ready, you can stretch your arms out behind you, yawning if you want to, stretching diagonally through the body, right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg, arms one way, legs the other. Take a nice deep breath in, and then letting go. When you're ready, you can bring your knees to your chest, give them a good squeeze. If you need to rock a little from side to side, go ahead and do so. Eventually, you just roll onto your right side. And when you're ready, you can place your left hand in front of your chest, pushing yourself up with your hand, coming all the way up into a seated position. As you sit there and you get comfortable again, take a moment to acknowledge 3 things that you are grateful for today. If you prefer just to do 3 arms, you can do that, 3 deep breaths. Bring the palms of your hands to your heart center. Roll your head down. Take a moment to acknowledge the amazing, magnificent human being that you are. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. And when it feels right, you can lift your gaze again. The divine in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. And have a lovely, lovely evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and for sharing the evening with me.